Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good afternoon and good evening, and welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx Speaker, Business Positioning Strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio Community, and interact and ask questions to the guests that come on the show. You can also subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever it is that you're comfortable listening to podcasts. You can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Himalaya app, or the Google Play Music app. Basically, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts or shows, we are there. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people who are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Johnny Campbell. Johnny, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Hello, Sean. It's great to be here with you. Thank you for the opportunity.
I am excited to have you on the show because we are both authors and we are both TEDx speakers. So we will have a lot to talk about, my friend.
Yep.
So the title of this episode is Becoming the Agent of Change with author and TEDx speaker Johnny Campbell. He is a keynote speaker, author, and high-performance expert who helps develop the mental readiness to embrace change so they can perform better and achieve better results in their business and life. Johnny is the author of the book, Becoming the Agent of Change, and the TEDx Talk called How an Enemy and Improve Your Life. He is also past president of the National Speaker Association for the state of Illinois and is an accredited speaker, a designation awarded by Toastmaster International and held by only 81 professional speakers in the world for excellence in public speaking. Johnny gained his team management and sales expertise in the insurance industry, where he worked as a corporate sales trainer and participated in leading hundreds of people through multiple corporate downsizings and mergers. Based on Johnny's sales results, experiences, and his ability to help organizations overcome their challenges and succeed in their businesses, he's been called the Transition Man. His websites, LinkedIn, Facebook is all in the show notes right there. Connect with him and let him know that you heard him on Life Transformation Radio. And with that, man, I got to know, what is your why? What is your deep why for what you do?
Well, when I explored the idea of my why, and then what I found is that I don't have a why, I have a now. And the now that I have is that I discovered deep down inside of myself that I was blessed with the ability to see paths and patterns toward people's lives. And I use those paths and patterns to script out my own life. And my why is to show people that success is about a process, and it's not about luck or chance, but it's about a process. And showing people that your success in life is about a process has become my biggest why that pushes me, because so many people are frustrated, they're stuck, complacent, and they don't know why. And it's because they don't have a real process or a path to follow toward their dreams and goals. So what they live their life is based on random acts of reaction instead of moving through a path. And that's my big why.
I like that last part you said. They have reactions.
Random acts of reaction. Yep.
Wow. So is that like having an uncharacteristic like an uncharacteristic response to something?
Yes, absolutely. Like a lot of people drift, Sean. They drift. They don't really have a true destination in life of where they want to go. Or if they do have a destination, they've not clearly thought about the path to get there, or that destination is still in their mind a fantasy. See, a lot of people have a vision, but what I try to help people have is a promised land vision. I want them to describe what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like to be in that place one day. And that allows you to stop drifting and start navigating your way toward the thing that you really want out of your life.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I like it. I like that a lot. I haven't heard it put that way. That's why I love doing the show. You know, I get people's different perspectives, and I mean, I would have never thought about it that way, you know, because I've never had it put that way.
I'm a new guy.
That's really cool.
I've been around 20 years. I'm a new guy, Sean. I've been around 20 years, and not a lot of people know me, but that's the goal, is for more people to know me, because my goal is to offer a newer perspective on some old issues.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Let's go back to the moment. And I believe that everybody goes through a moment that becomes the catalyst for change. So for you, what is that transformational moment that put you on the path to what you're doing today?
I got fired, Sean.
All right.
I
nailed it.
I worked in the insurance industry for over 10 years. I was a part of 5 downsizings and mergers. I was given the responsibility to help people deal with the organizational, cultural changes, and also the technology. And I love that work. I mean, I loved it to no end. And then one day, doing this work for a couple of years within the industry, all of these changes reached a point where they said, okay, that's it. And when that's it occurred, my manager had nowhere else for me to go. And they said, you have to go back to doing what you used to do, which was a claims adjuster. And I was like, the genie's out of the bottle. I understand what I'm supposed to do in my life. I'm very good at moving people through a process of transformation, but what it really was transition. I understood that people had to be transitioned through the changes they were experiencing. And that was the thing that I was about. And when they said, I can't do it anymore, I was like, I can't go back. This is what I am. And from that point on, I said, I'm going to have to go out on my own. Now, as I went through that process of having this situation happen to me, I had documented everything I did to move people through a process of change, moving them through it. And when I got to the end of it, I had this manual I created. And I told the organization, I said, I wrote this to help the next group go through it. And they didn't want it. They said, no, that's okay. We're all done with all that. And I was like, okay. And then later on, they were done with me being that. And so they either gave me a choice, either go back to what you were, or we can't use you anymore. And I was gone, just like that. And I began my journey saying, hey, there are a lot of people out there that are going through this both personally and organization-wise, and they would be interested in a roadmap on how to navigate the uncertainties of change. And that became my moniker. That's how I became the transition man. And suddenly I began to share with people that change isn't their problem. It's the transition through the change. See, change is an event, situation, or thing. People don't change, people transition through change. And at the end, as they go through the change, they're either getting better or worse from the experience, but they're not changed by the experience. The change, the
Right.
transition is what affects them, not the change.
Huh. So in the
And
military, we talk about change. We talk about there's three levels. There's the unfreezing, the change moment, and then the refreezing of that change. And he goes so far, like, what does it take to get somebody unfrozen? Because they're frozen in their, they're closed-minded to their change.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the build up to that change, the actual moment that you've changed, and they make it like this huge process. They make it like this big, like, life altering. We're changing this up. Like this life altering thing, and then it's like after the change, you wouldn't even go back. Like, I remember how we used to do these things, and it seems like a long time ago. Like,
Well, Sean,
it's like such a big deal.
I'm gonna tell you something shocking, Sean. That's gonna disrupt a lot of people when they hear it. They're wrong, Sean. Change is an event, a situation, or a thing. The transition is the key. Matter of fact, Sean, if you say the word change out loud and you say the word transition, which one sounds better? Transition sounds better.
Right.
You guide people to and through a change. They are not the change. That's why when people go through a change experience, they're either better or worse at the end of it, and it's all in how they transition through it. So a person as a leader or an individual is to learn how to navigate, how to transition through the change they're experiencing. And that's what I teach people, is to set up the process to get through it so that they can get what they need from the change that's occurring.
That's perfect. And this disruption that occurs in the change, or I guess during the transition or during the change, however you look at it, is that what really holds people back? Is that what they're really afraid of? Because we're always talking about, people are afraid of change and they don't want to change because they get comfortable in what they're doing. And, sometimes we have to change to keep it fresh and grow and whatever. But it just seems to me that people would be afraid of that disruption of their life, like what's going to happen after the change, because they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. There are really three emotions that people actually feel as they're going through a transition. As they transition through the change, they've got doubts, they've got worries, and they've got fears. Doubts come first when you get started. Worries are in the middle, and fear is at the end of it, because it's that sense of uncertainty of what's next. That's why they have to have certain things in place to allow it to be more effective. Like, that's why I said, when you're going through change, it's important to have a promised land vision for the other side of that change.
Right.
What it's supposed to be like on the other side. People have to get clear on, even when they're going through it, they have to be clear on what's supposed to happen on the other side of this. How is it supposed to look? How is it supposed to feel? They have to really work on that. If they can't do it themselves, that's where coaches and consultants and advisors come into place to help them get clear on what it's supposed to look like on the other end. When they start the journey, you have to be honest as to where we're starting from. So you got to be clear on where you're starting at, and you got to be clear on the end result, what you're looking for, and a coach or someone to guide you is what's there as you're going through that transition, because you are feeling those emotions of doubts, worries, and fears.
Very cool. I like it. One of the worst phrases that anyone could ever say in life and in business or whatever is that, well, this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah, that's the way we've always done it. And see, well, the one thing that you have to understand, if you want to get people to actually move and begin a transition, you got to understand individuals' nature. Some people, honestly, are just driven by pain. You have to burn the bridge to get them to move. Others are sold on pleasure. the joy of what's about to happen. And then finally, others are driven by pride, Sean. They have to be showed that they have to prove something. And see, I use sports as an analogy of this. Any player in the NBA right now that has a 0 as their number on their jersey, they wear that number because they have a chip on their shoulder to prove to everybody they're as good as they say they are. Because their entire life, they've been told they haven't been that good. That's why they wear 0, because it reminds them. And they're in the NBA, top players, but it reminds them that people talented them. And that's why they wear that number. Not because it's cool.
I didn't know that.
It's because it reminds them, and their pride is what pushes them. So when you deal with people, you got to know what's going to push them to move. Sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's pleasure, or sometimes it's pride. You charge them with the act of proving themselves, and that'll make them move.
And for you, that was getting fired.
Yep, that was getting fired, and I was pain for sure, but it was also to prove to them something, because I felt like no one should ever have that level of power over me that they could just wake up one morning and say it's all done and over. And I was like, it'd be different, if you were doing bad and they fired you because you were not a good employee. But I was a great employee, and I was loyal, and myself demonstrated it, and I was just gone. And I said, chip on the shoulder, it'll never happen to me again. That's that letter 0. I said number 0. It'll never happen again.
Jeez.
And so I push myself. I don't need anyone to push me. I push myself because I don't want to ever have to experience that again.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. But there's a lot of learning in that, too, at the same time. There's a lot of learning because look what's come of it.
Oh, yeah. That's where coaches and
there's
mentors.
A huge learning.
And reading and study. All of these things factor into this transition when you're moving through things. That's why the transition is where the growth occurs. The growth is in the transition, not in the change. It's in you going through it. That's where growth, experience, wisdom, understanding, new value systems, all that happens in the transition process as you go through it.
Very cool. Let's talk about your TEDx talk.
Okay.
Was that a pinnacle moment? Like, to me, that was the Super Bowl of speaking. It meant that I was good enough. I made it. Right? I have the right to call myself a professional speaker or whatever. I mean, I've been speaking for many years.
Right.
But if you make it to the TEDx stage and you have a TEDx talk, you have earned the right to call yourself a speaker or a professional speaker, because that's like the Super Bowl of speaking.
Well, I'll share with you my journey. I'm a Toastmaster. So for those that are listening, and I love Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for 18 years. In 2007, I got put into the Speakers Hall of Fame for Toastmasters. And I had already got to that point, Sean, when I got put in the Hall of Fame. And my mindset was, I'm going to use the skills and the abilities I've learned speaking when I joined Toastmasters, but I've been a speaker for 20 years. So when the TEDx came around to me, I was speaking on stages, and this lady comes up to me. She says, I'd like for you to do a TEDx talk at my event. And I joked around with her, Sean, and I said, who's Ted? What's Ted want with me? And I said, okay. And then when I knew of TEDx Talks, and I looked at this opportunity, and that's when I looked at it like the way you're looking at it, as a Super Bowl of speaking. I said, other than being on big stages with jumbo screens, this is the pinnacle of speaking and of credibility. So what I did was, all my experiences from speaking and writing speeches, I turned my attention to this, and I said, okay, I'm going to do a talk on this. And I spent 90 days, Sean, getting ready for my TEDx talk. I spent 60 days writing, just so people know, writing. And the other 30, because I had so much experience speaking, I went to Toastmasters and I ran my speech through there, because Like I said before, I'm a Toastmaster forever, and I already had that. I already had this certain ability, and I wanted to hone it and to develop it and be better. So that's how I develop. And then I developed my talk, and it's really called How an Enemy Can Improve Your Life. My TEDx talk is built on the idea that competition is a catalyst for improvement. And without a competition or an enemy in your life, a real person, a situation, or a thing, you will stay stagnant. You must rub up against something to get better. And so that was my idea, that everyone needs an enemy. And I showed in my talk the illustrations of it. I said, in sports, your opponent is your enemy. In life, when we fight illness, that illness is the enemy. That's why doctors and researchers keep looking for answers. Everywhere in our life, if we don't have something to go against, we get complacent and we stay stuck. And that was my idea. I even told everybody, why in the world did we go to the moon? Because it was cool. We went because the Russians wanted to be there first. That's why we went. And I even showed an illustration of Steve Jobs. Jobs blatantly said, we will make up an enemy if necessary to improve. Now, he had Bill Gates, but he said, if we can't find an enemy, we'll make one up. And that's the argument. So for me, Sean, I looked at my talk as a case study to the world that we need competition to be better. Not the most sexiest talk in the world. I should have 1 million views, Sean, but I don't. Because I'm not talking about something soft and flowery and universal. I'm talking about something real that everyone gets up in the morning thinking about, but they just don't say out loud.
Yeah. I mean, I like Toastmasters. I think it's a great organization. It tells you how to speak, which is kind of the hardest part, right? I mean, it's like speak, but like that's it. Like that's what I don't like is that it only tells you like how to speak. Well, it doesn't tell you how to build a speaker business. Doesn't tell you how to leverage the time that you're on the stage. I tell people, like, if you want to learn how to speak, like the act of speaking, Toastmasters, that's cool. Like do it. But if you want to build a business for speaking, then TEDx Toastmasters is not going to do that for you.
No, that's not what Toastmasters was designed to do. Like, Toastmasters is designed to help you become a better communicator or leader. Yeah. That's really what its purpose is to help improve your communication skills or to be a leader. It will make the most shyest person have more confidence, and it will make someone like me who came into Toastmasters already confident into a monster, into a machine on stage. Like, it made me stronger than it made, like, I was already a good speaker when I showed up. It made me a better speaker. So that's its power. For those that are beginners, but also for those that have skills, you will get better and you will know you're getting better. Now, for the business, I was the past president of the National Speakers Association for the state of Illinois. Yeah. That organization, NSA, that's what our cornerstone was on, building a speaking business. So I used to tell everybody, if you want to become a better communicator, better presenter, join Toastmasters. If you want to build your speaking business and be around those that are doing that kind of work, join the National Speakers Association, or at least come to the meetings in your state or your local chapter, and you'll be around people that are building a business from it. So it's really a 1-2 punch, Sean, versus one or the other. I always tell everybody, you do both. And then also, Sean, you meet people along your journey who are doing it the way you want to do it, and you start to try to anchor to them as much as you can to build collaboration and relationships, and you learn directly from people as well who are doing the work.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't had a really great experience in the National Speakers Association. I just haven't. what I've seen is a big good old boy system where you have a handful of speakers, me and Johnny and 4 other speakers, like we're our own little clique, and we only refer speaking engagements to you guys. You feed them back to me, and to, like our little group only shares information and only share, like it's our little cliquey group. Like that's what I have experienced as far as National Speakers Association is concerned. And it's a lot of people out for themselves and out for their friends and not really willing to help anybody else. So that's my experience with NSA. So I don't do NSA. There's also Public Speakers Association. Tanya Hoffman does that. That's pretty good. But yeah, I just I don't know. I don't know if you get to a certain level and it becomes like an egotistical thing, like, haha, look at me and look at all my success and everybody look at me. I'm not like that. No matter what level of success I get to, I always have my hand down, pulling the next person who's below me, pulling them up, and I just didn't get that vibe from National Speaker Association. So I don't do them anymore.
I think it's more, really, is that what you mentioned true? Yeah, it is true within there, but it's also the culture. Like, there are parts and groups that aren't like that within the NSA world, who are much more open and giving and very transparent about what they're doing. It's a matter of being around the right groups and the right people within that group. And it's really a culture thing, like, I'll give you an example. You would have probably loved being in the Illinois chapter when I was there, because I created this thing. It was called NSA, the place for the one: opportunity, networking, and education. Our entire focus was on opportunities for our speakers to speak, which meant we always were looking for ways to promote our speakers to have speaking opportunities and to refer. Networking, the end with networking, we only network with buyers. I used to say, no one's coming to network with us unless they can hire us. Meeting planners, event planners, corporations, people who could hire us. And then E was for education. We only wanted to learn what it took to make money as a speaker. That was my thing as the president, and it followed me after I left. So I'm saying to you is that what you're saying is, I'm saying to you is true. It can be that way, but it's also who's in charge, who's the leader.
For sure.
Because it can be open and be much more, giving, Sean. Now, I can't speak for all the chapters, but I'm just saying that it's one of those case by case basis. And the reality is what you experience, Sean. Like, if you and I get together and we share the same views and philosophy, then we'll bring other folk in and share the same views. And next thing you know, we do have a clique or a group because we share the same values and beliefs. It's unfortunate that sometimes those groups won't let anyone new in. That's the issue.
Correct.
Also,
Correct.
Here's the other issue I'm going to share with you on this. I wish that the speaking world was like the movie with Tom Cruise when he was Jerry Maguire, where you find speakers with talent and you bring them up. That's not the world we live in. These individuals today exploit your celebrity of you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to already be there for them to want to promote you. Because I've had planners, I'll just tell you flat out, I've had planners tell me, Johnny, your fees, and I don't have a problem telling people what my fees are. My fees run from $7,500 up to $10,000 to go speak. It just depends on the situation and circumstance. So I don't care.
That's what I'm pretty much at. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'll just tell people flat out. That's what it is. This planner a bureau person flat out told me, Johnny, it's not that you're not a high tier speaker doing well, but I can book Goldie Hawn for $80,000 and put on the same amount of work to get you booked. But my argument is, but you could become a millionaire booking me. You can only book her once. You could book me 20 times. You can make $1 million. with me.
Right.
You got to make 80 grand with her. But they don't see it like that. They see like that one big payday on that one person versus let me put together a collection of up-and-comers who I could be truly their speaker bureau manager and build them up. And we all get wealthy from it. But they don't see that world like that. And I wish there was someone that did, and they call me because I'd be with them.
Right.
So I'm just telling you that, Sean, that's my observation on that scenario that you're describing. And so speakers buddy up to try to figure out how to win this thing. And unfortunately, like I said, they don't always let new people into the party, even if the new people got the talent and ability to perform well.
Yeah, I equate it to, if you want to build the tallest building, you either build the tallest building or you tear down the other buildings around you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was another, I really do wish there were bureaus and people out there who said, you know what, there's a lot of talented people, and if I pull them together and I really support them, we can become successful. But that's not how it works. They just don't see it that way. It's just like going to a book publisher. If you publish my book, then I'm expecting you to do more than just have your name on my book. I'm looking for you to help me push the book. And that's not the business that they're in. And that's 100%. The struggle. And so that's what I'm saying is that all of these factors, you have to own it, and you have to decide how hard you're going to go to be successful. And it's just, that's the area that when people meet me, they don't really understand, because I'm not the most famous guy, Sean. So I try to explain to them, I say, look, I speak 40 to 45 times a year for fee, and you still don't know me. So what is that saying to you? That's saying there's opportunities out there if you're willing to put in the work. But will they put in the work to do it? And they see the more famous speakers, and it looks effortless. And it is, because they're famous.
Right. But what they fail to realize is, how long did it take them to get famous? How long did it take them to get 20 and 30 and 40K? Right? It's so funny how many people think that there's an overnight success. There's some magic pill that you're going to take and you become an overnight success. You know, Uber was not an overnight success. Uber was alive and well in San Francisco for about 3 to 4 years, and then they became what they're known as today. It took them 3 or 4 years doing it, right? What I noticed is about 3 years is always a 3-year thing. A 3-year, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what you would call it. It seems like you struggle for the first year, you start figuring it out the second year, and then by the third year, you're like, I think I got this. And as long as you don't give up, you start getting traction. You start getting momentum. And then the fourth year, you start crushing it. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, by the third year, everybody I talk to, I'm like, when did you really get into TEDx? When did you really know that you were going to be a speaker? When did you really, really start becoming, paid well? I was like, about the third or fourth year. Yep, figures. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like the third or fourth year. And it's just like, it's funny that people are like, oh man, that guy, he's crushing it. He's doing so good. I wonder what he did. I'm like, put in 10 years of work. Right?
I'll tell you another thing that people they don't understand this important lesson about being a speaker. You can't save the world. You have to decide who you're going to save out here. You have to pick a marketplace. You have to pick an industry. You have to look for niches where your message is powerful and it resonates with people. A lot of people want to talk to everyone, and you're talking to no one.
Yeah.
You have to pick a lane. And when you pick a lane, then you get really clear on what books I should write, what courses I should create, and who I should be talking to. A lot of times people will come to me, say, hey, Johnny, I want to learn how to be a speaker. We have that conversation, and I never hear from them again because I'm not sexy, Sean. I tell them the truth of what it takes.
Right.
And then I say, I'm sorry, you're not going to be $1 million speaker in your first year. Matter of fact, if you can't, your goal should be to learn how to make $10,000 to $25,000 in your first year. You need to learn how to do that. Don't quit
Yep.
your job. Learn how to do that, and you'll be amazed at how you build momentum over time. Well, when I tell somebody that, they secretly curse me, Sean, and then I say to myself, now I know why Yoda sits in the swamp smoking cigarettes and it's hard to find. You know, I understand now, because when people come to you and you tell them the truth, they don't want to hear that. They want me to lie to them and tell them some fake story. And then when I tell them what it's about and what it could cost, I'm not fancy enough for them. And this other guy is super fancy, but he hasn't done the work. He's gotten famous, but he hasn't done the groundwork, and he doesn't remember what it takes to build. And so they go with that person, and they spend that $20,000 or $10,000 with that person, and they think about me, and they stick their tongue out and act offended because I told them the truth.
Jeez.
They do.
You know, there's so many Facebook ads, though. So many Facebook ads like become a millionaire speaker, become a 50K speaker. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. But they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many people I know that they're happy to pay $20,000 to go speak on stage somewhere. They're happy to pay an event planner $20,000 to then go and sell from the stage. They're totally cool with that. And because they're going to make $100,000, you know, at the event selling programs, products, and services. If you have the infrastructure to do that, then do that. That's awesome. Go make $100K. I wonder how much of that $100K. So now they're looking at $80K because they made $100K. So I say they get $100,000 in sales. There's $80K. That's awesome. I wonder how much of that really goes to payroll or goes to like expenses, that $80K. I wonder how many really like those expenses, and then how much money, how many people equate to that money, you know? So you get on, 15 or 20 calls, you add like 15 or 20 clients, and they go into a funnel. Is it a one-on-one coaching? Like, what are you selling, right? So now you're not sipping Mai Tais on the beach in Cabo. Like you're working, because now you have all these clients, you got all these people, you got to pay them. Like, man, it's it's so ridiculous. I usually don't pay for stage time. I have. The key of that is the event planner has to deliver on the promise of their audience. I've been approached by, oh man, they're your perfect audience. Oh, they'll buy from you. Yeah, man. Oh, that'd be great. I paid $2,500. I paid $5,000, and it turns out nobody buys from me. They weren't even my audience, and they're all broke.
Right. Well, hey, Sean, listen, with that same scenario, you said $20,000 to get on the stage. That might not count them wanting 50-50 on your back end sales, Sean.
Oh my God, yeah.
You forgot that 50-50 on the back. That
so
20
ridiculous.
was your entry fee, and 50-50 was the back end sale. See, here's the thing and I'll let you go on with what you were saying. I'm not that kind of speaker. I'm the old-fashioned, I get a check to show up and talk. I talk to corporations, associations, and government groups. And the reason is because they pay me to show up and talk, Sean. When you start doing back-end selling, you have to ask yourself a question. Am I speaking to get coaching clients or to get some kind of customer? Is that why I'm doing it? And if you are, that's selling from the stage. I get hired to provide that audience with content and information to make them better. If they buy a book in the back, that is cool. But I already got paid 10 to be there. My job is to fill their minds up with the best information I can so they can be successful. And my goal is to get a referral to another 10K opportunity. That's my goal.
100%.
But I've done the speaking from the stage, selling products. That is a whole different animal for someone walking into this space.
Yep.
That's two different types of speaking. And a lot of people, when they step into our space, they don't understand what they're watching. That is a
right.
true
Right.
performance up there when you sell from the stage. When you are hired to speak, you have a totally different feeling because you got the check in your pocket because you can pat it. You got it. You're there to just talk and share and give. And you walk away. Maybe you don't walk away with $100,000 a day, but you definitely have a sense of real fulfillment when you got paid to share your message.
Right, 100%. And when you bring up that point, one of the aspects I keep in my mind, like you said, am I speaking to sell something? Am I speaking to deliver value? Am I speaking to get coaching clients? Like, what is the purpose?
Yes, sir.
What I have found is that when you are paid to speak, your value, that you deliver, your respect for the event, and your willingness to go above and beyond seems to be higher than the one that is money motivated, because that's what speaking to sell is money motivated.
Right.
You don't give a whole lot of value. You don't stay those extra minutes at the event to talk with somebody. You don't go above and beyond like you would. Like, I've already got paid. Like, what do I care? Right? What I mean by that is I've been to these pitch fests. I've been to these speak to sells, and the audience gets pissed because they're constantly, every speaker is selling something. And you know what they're not doing? Delivering high value content that the audience member goes, geez, I need this. Oh my, I got to sign up. I have to work with this person. Like, this is amazing. I need that. You know, they're just not doing that. I've sat through these. I'm like, I didn't learn a damn thing.
That's the point.
I learned how to pitch. I didn't learn a damn thing. I got a carrot dangled in front of me with a bunch of testimonials and look at me, and I did this for my client, and I did this for my client. I'm like, that's awesome, but what did you do? Like, I don't even know what you did.
That is, you got it. That is the problem with that space. And I don't know, Sean, how to break people of it, because so many well-known super celebrity type people do it all the time, that when you come along and you share with them real content, even on that type of platform, they're all freaked out.
Right.
Because it's not the norm. And
for sure,
I watch it just like you watch it. And I'm just like, when I'm paid to speak, when they pay me my money to speak, you're absolutely right, Sean. I sit there and hold court after I get done talking in the lobby or on a couch.
Yep.
And I just talk to people. I don't run off. I don't run away. I sit there and just have that conversation. And more business comes from that than anything else.
Yes.
Have a conversation.
Yep. And I've had so much business come from an event because they're like, wow, that content you delivered was amazing. You know, and you know, I want to talk to you, you know, what can I do? And, you know, what about this? And you answer a couple of questions like, man, how can I work with you? I'm like, well, this is how you would do it. And, you know, and I've gotten higher paying clients that way than selling, you know? So, absolutely, man. You absolutely nailed it. We got to wrap this up. So here's what I want to do. I want to do a shameless plug. You can plug your programs, products, services, how people can book you to speak, your website, whatever it is that you want the audience to know and to do. Shamelessly plug. Go.
All right. Well, if you're out there and you want to be a professional speaker, you want to learn that craft, then I want you to, if you're listening to this audio here, email me, johnny@transitionman.com, or call me 630-460-3279. Text me, tell me you heard the show and you're interested in talking to me. If you're someone out there that's just trying to help navigate the uncertainties of change, you want to have the right mindset to get through it for yourself and others, then go to riseupandwin.com/now. riseupandwin.com/now, NOW, and you'll get all kind of information on how to make transitions through the uncertainties of change. Like I said before, you want to be a speaker, you just want to be a better communicator, I love to talk to you about that versus referring a product to you. I'd love to talk to you. Email me, johnny@transitionman.com, so we can set up a time to talk. Tell me you heard the show, or call me, 630-460-3279, and I'll scare you to death because I'll answer the phone.
I love it. I love it. So give us one nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today.
The one nugget I would share with you is this. Stop setting goals based on desire. Goals are designed to solve problems, not outcomes. If you want to achieve more, set a goal to solve a problem, and the outcome is the byproduct of solving the problem. Everyone's always told, write your goals down, write your goals down.
Yep.
When you write your goals down and it's based on an outcome, you get depressed. But when you write a goal out to solve a problem, that helps you stay focused. That's why goal setting is often done incorrectly. You set goals to solve problems, thereby achieving the outcome you want. That's the nugget. A lot of people, and if you do that, you'll be surprised at how many more goals you achieve and how many more outcomes you are able to receive.
I just flipped it over on its head, my man. Flipped it on its head. That's awesome. I love the way you think, man. It's just completely different. Like, my mind has been blown a couple times by things that you say. I'm like, wow, what a great perspective that is. It's so much different than what we were taught in school, than what's acceptable, than what's talked about. Like, it's so different. And as a speaker and as an entrepreneur and business owner, you really got to be different. You keep doing the status quo stuff, you're going to be lumped in with everybody else, and then you're no different than anybody else, and then your value goes down. However, yeah, go ahead.
Let me give you one last thought here that I want you to think about, everyone to think about real fast, is that when you want to do something really well, you need to become a student of it and study it based on your life, your experiences, and what you've seen actually work. Should you read books? Yes. Should you study courses? Yes. But you should come up with your own working view on it. Don't just regurgitate what everyone else has said, because then you're like everybody else. You have to expand your thoughts about what's always been commonly told to you. And that's when you become a trailblazer. And that's why it sounds so different, Sean, because I've thought about what everyone says. And after a while, I'm like, I don't think that's right. I think there's more. And so I started realizing it was more. And
I love it.
And that's kind of how I got to where I am, Sean, just thinking deeper about those same old questions and finding new answers.
Perfect. I love it, man. I'd love to stay connected, and I wish you the best for the rest of 2019, man. This has been amazing. I've learned a lot, and this was awesome.
All right, let's stay in touch. Okay.
So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If anything resonated with you, please go to transitionman.com, go to riseupandwin.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, right there in the show notes. Connect with him. And I don't know about you guys, I am amazed at the level of thinking that Johnny has. There's been a couple notes I've taken, a couple times I'm like, geez, that's brilliant. Connect with him and let him know that you heard him here on Life Transformation Radio. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunity every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.